It's the Date Master, and yes, we're back again. We're gonna have a more serious chop up today, fellas. We got to check in. We got to check in on this mental health check. I know people been seeing this mental health stuff with, especially with black men, and people don't really take it as serious as they should. You can fix yourself, but you must understand, your issues, your shortcomings, and things that may, trigger you or send you to a place of negative thoughts and negative actions. I use this thumbnail for Will Smith because this is an example of a man who has been broken. I talked to my dad and I told him that he was broken. Had a recent, and I'm gonna let you guys in just a little bit. Had a recent scare. My mother was hospitalized and now she's on medication in which I have to administer her 2 shots a day. If you guys have not been in that place, you don't know what that does to you to see your mother in a sick condition to where her life depends on getting shots that you have to give her at a certain time twice a day. So when I tell you don't break, people say, well, how can I not break seeing my mother like this? How can I keep it cool? Because life is not going to be all peaches and cream. Life is not going to be rainbows and sunshine and all that type of shit that we've been sold so many lies that you see these men breaking, you see these women breaking, you have women committing suicide with the children, jumping off of bridges, drowning them in bathtubs. You have a lot of things going on at one time that certain things don't get acknowledged or spoken on. I would say we don't have these conversations. But as a man, you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested. You're going to be put through adversity that you cannot control. And a lot of it is going to be dependent upon your emotional state and your emotional endurance. How much can you take? Those that make it to the top, best believe they have a lot of scar tissue. They have a lot of scars, a lot of mental scars that come with that. Loss of family, loss of friends. You can even lose yourself. You can lose yourself in life because you try to keep up with the world. This is why you must purge your social media. You must purge from social media. You wake up 6, 7 o'clock in the morning daily. The first thing you're doing is checking your social media. This is going to damage your mental health because you haven't even got a chance to gather your thoughts for the day. You haven't gotten yourself together for the day, for the daily tasks that you have ahead of yourself before you check social media to see who's talking about you, to see who liked a picture, to see who commented on a post or a picture that you may have made. So what I'm doing now is getting away from social media and getting back to reality because so many fools, they prowl social media all day, every day. And people make these posts and statuses as if a person that's not on social media is somewhat elite or above a certain standard. That's not the case at all. One just acknowledges the damage that social media is doing and has done over the course of the years. People do not use logic anymore. The moment you get away from logic as a man is the moment you become a threat because you will act on emotion. And we're not going to beat a dead horse, but you see, again, this Will Smith, people were giving him a standing ovation for putting himself and his family at risk. Fools, because it was the sensation that they saw it on social media. It was the sensation that they caught it and were the few of the ones who saw it first in their minds. They were the first ones to see it. They're going to be the first ones to speak about it and post it. It's sensationalism. You have to make sure that you are I would say okay in a sense. You're okay with what you're doing in life. You're okay with the choices that you're making. You're okay with what and who you see in the mirror. Most of us are not okay with what we see because we spend a lot of time complaining and critiquing things that we have 100% control over. The women that you choose to entertain, you have 100% control over that. The jobs that you work, you have 100% control over that. You have a lot more control than what you give credit to. But if you don't acknowledge this, then you will break. You will snap. These men are deleting themselves at an alarming rate. Men are taking themselves out because they can't not take the pressure of excelling to the highest level. You have to cut off the bullshit. And this is the one of my most difficult struggles in my journey is getting away from things that my peers are so involved, or not involved, but so absorbed in. So social media presence, going to the club to kick it. You're going to have to miss a wave or two, and that's fine. You're going to miss a wave or two. You're going to miss a wave of women. You see women you got women on your orbit and in your radar who you want to get with, but you're not ready for them. Or should I say, you're not in a space to where you can have the best outcome with that woman. You're not ready for it. So you're going to miss out. But you're really not going to miss out because that is a thing as well. I want to do a video on that. FOMO, the fear of missing out. You think if you speak your mind, if you get off social media, if you go underground, that you're going to miss a wave of the women who you've been, I would call feathering, meaning you've been flirting, you've been liking posts, making comments. You think this is inching you in the door when it's really not. So in your mind, you think you're going to miss out. You think you're going to miss a wave of partying. You think you're going to miss a wave of sex. You think you're going to miss a wave of women when you're going to miss yourself. You're going to lose out trying to do any and everything and any and everybody. You're going to overexert yourself and you won't have room for your legacy. You won't have room for the dreams that you think about daily, but you do not work on them daily. You constantly want to be in the mix because you don't want to be left out of the crowd. You must be left out of the crowd. You must go underground. You must be okay with missing a wave because waves come and go. The tide comes in if you're in an area where the beach is or where there's water. The tide comes in every night. And then you have high tides that come in every so often. Do not be afraid of missing the low tides. You want to prepare for the high tide. You want to prepare for the abundance, not the crumbs, because what we think the crumbs are going to add up and ultimately become a loaf. In some cases, that's true. But you cannot get the crumbs and then spread the crumbs out. You have to get the crumbs, keep them, get more crumbs and more crumbs and more crumbs, and then get the slices, and then get the half loaves, and then get the full loaf. And then you work on getting a bread truck. It is levels to building. You must get away because if you don't, you're going to break. Trying to please everyone, you're going to break. You cannot please everyone, especially women. They're the pleasers. This is why they go the great lengths of making themselves beautified, putting on their mask from a physical and a metaphysical standpoint. Not only do they wear a mask physically, they wear a mask figuratively. They have to camouflage themselves to please you because they know that that's not really them. And for those who find this out, you will know that once you find out the intention is not genuine with a woman, I'm going to change gears just a little bit. Once you know that the intentions of a woman is not genuine, you try to convince her to be genuine. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. You must become the ultimate version of yourself first. And then you go out to add pieces that's going to expand what you have already built. I see a lot of men and I see how they post. I see a lot of women, married women, constantly speaking on relationships and situations, which baffles me. It baffles me to see women who are quote unquote married in relationships constantly speaking on other people's relationships or single people problems. It doesn't make sense. If I play for the Dolphins, why would I be worried about what's going on in the Jets locker room? Why would I be worried about what's going on in another team's locker room if I'm already signed to a team? If I'm already under contract, I got the good contract, I got my position. Why would I be concerned with what's going on someone else's team? This is a telltale sign that she is pretty much using you as a placeholder. She's settled. She got the best situation in what she does. This is a sign of complacency. I also see married women complain. I see married women complain. They have a good man at home. They have men that go get it, protect in the community, doing a lot of great things. And I see these same women complain about things that they lack, as if it's the man's job to compensate you for your own insecurities. It's an interesting time in this society, and social media has everything to do with it, because how would I know these women think this way if I didn't see it on their social media? How would I know men think and operate this way if I did not see it on their social media? These things will break you. And men and women both think that they can move around with no consequence. There is always consequence. Even in death, there's going to be consequences for what you did when you were walking this earth. I just watched this movie called Retaliation. If you guys got Amazon Prime, I think it's Orlando Bloom. It's a good movie. And it's about a man who was sexually abused, and he was going through life in a lot of adversity. He was frustrated. He was running off loved ones. He was causing a lot of chaos. He stated in the clip of the movie he wanted revenge. I also had this mindset. I wanted to get revenge for those who I was genuinely good to, who I was 100 with, and they played like they were the same. You're going to go through those phases in life where you want to get revenge, but revenge comes with a price. If you're willing to pay that price, or if the price is worth paying, by all means, have at it. But for the most part, you will know that revenge is just an emotional response due to your frustration with an outcome, due to feeling you've been wronged or you've been violated, and you must violate that person or persons the same way and cause them the same pain that you were caused. But yeah, check that movie out, Retaliation. It's a good movie. But I want to wrap it up with this. Take your mental health serious. Do what is necessary. Cutting people off, do it. Cutting out bad habits, do it. Because bad habits and bad people go hand in hand. You cannot, I would say, divulge or engage in these bad habits unless you have people that are supporting it. Now, you do have habits that you pretty much can do all by yourself. Control that too. But this was just a mental health check. Don't break, because the world it gets rough. You're going to see your loved ones suffer. You're going to see them go through things that you can't do anything about, but to be present and to be supportive and to be positive for them. But you guys, let me know what you think about this video. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Day Master.